Kinga Dabrowska. I work for Microfinance Center. Today I have the privilege to facilitate this webinar. First of all, I would like all of you to stay muted, so we have a better quality webinar. So today's webinar, how to cope with the effects of the pandemic on microfinance business, examples from the field. This webinar is organized in cooperation with our partner network, European Microfinance Network. And before we start, I have a few technical requests. So first of all, please stay muted during the presentations, and also don't share your video. We have many people at this webinar. At this moment, there is more than 80 people, and we expect even more. So for those who do not have very stable internet connection, it will be a blessing to not have everybody on the video. During the webinar, if you will have any questions, you can write them down in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and ask them verbally. As it was also described in the webinar, we will have plenty of time to share and hear experience of many different institutions, and I encourage you to share your experience, which you shared with others. And with that, I would like to ask Lucia Popowska, the MFC chairperson, if you are already at the webinar. Lucia, are you there? Okay, I think Lucia is still connecting, so I will ask her later. So let's start the webinar. And the way how we are going to do it is I have three speakers, great speakers from three wonderful institutions who are going to share their initial experience and measures they introduced in their institutions. Roxanne from microStart, Mirjana from Opportunity Bank Serbia, and Lori from Adie. So they will start with their examples, and later I will open the floor to all of you to add, to share your examples or concerns you have. And yes, so that's the start. Again, if you have questions, use the chat box or raise your hand, and then me or my colleague will unmute you to ask the questions. So Roxanne, can I give you the floor or mic and screen and ask you to...
Hello everyone, I hope you are all in a good health. Okay, so let's start. Thank you, Kinga. Okay, I will share my screen. Okay, is that right, like this?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, perfect. So I will just make a quick presentation. It's only a few minutes about the human resource measures that we took at microStart. The idea is really to participate to the effort to avoid the transmission of the virus as much as possible, but also to support our clients through the crisis. So this is a strong message that we share with all our employees. We really want to show that microStart is doing as much as possible, and we found solution to be able to still continue our activities even if we are not located in the same area. So I will only speak about the HR solutions because I know that Adie will explain the client solution, and I think it's quite similar what we do at microStart and at Adie. So in Belgium, we could continue to work in the same office if we follow some rules and if we ensure that we are not all at the same times in the building. However, we decided with microStart that everyone needs to stay at home. So we really do an extra effort. We decided this because we thought we were able to do it with all the online facilities that we have. So the general rules is that everyone needs to be at home, all employees. We will not do any meetings anymore with the clients or with the volunteers. So for us, it's very important, and especially with the volunteers, because we have a lot of old people who are volunteers at microStart. And we really focus on not asking anyone to take any risk. So it's really, we go a step further than what is asked by the government. We also decided that the volunteers, the interns and the consultants, they have to follow the same rules as microStart, except if they have other rules in their, from their school or from their company. So for example, some interns, they have to stop their internship. We'll never force them to continue. Some of them, they really wanted to continue with us, and then we find an arrangement and they can continue at distance for sure, but as volunteers. So it was also a solution to see, okay, the school is not allowing, but you don't have anything else to do and you want to help a few hours per day, why not? But we really want to keep the contract and the structure, and so that they work for us as volunteers and not just as without any contract or insurance or anything. Then, so we managed to make all our service available online, the coaching and also the credit application. And this I will not go into details. We also try to be as flexible as possible for the employees with young children. We know that it's not easy. I don't have children myself, but I guess that it's not easy to work if you have to take care of children. So if really it's impossible for the person, they are allowed to take some holidays. And we also allowed the people to work at different time, alternative hours, especially for the people working in the support, not in contact with the clients. So really we can work early in the morning or a bit later, and the people, they can organize by shift with their husband or wife if it's possible. So we are really trying to make sure that everyone can be in the best condition at home. So if you are not able, everyone, to work at home, I think what is very important is just that you don't put everyone in the same office at the same time, and also make sure it's what they do in the bank here in Belgium. It's like if you have a backup person, make sure that this person is not in the building at the same time as you. So to make sure if one is sick, the other can do the work for the other. Then some tips that we shared with all our staff. So we started this last week. We made a big webinars with all our staff to explain all the measurements that we are taking. So just home working, clear a chair, a desk, try to find an isolated room if possible, try not to have the children around if possible, for sure, and really make sure that you are available all the time by phone, and try if possible to work in the classic timetable, but we are more flexible now about this. We also encourage people to put the video when it's possible, because it helps to keep the contacts. We ask all the teams in the different branches that we have to have a warm-up meeting every morning. We think it's very, very important to discuss about the work, how it's managed, and what we have to do, to discuss about the objectives, etc. But also to keep the team motivated. It's not always easy to call the clients, and many clients, they are not in a good situation for now. We have to find solution. And some of our employees, they have strong difficulties to work alone. They feel very isolated and a bit depressed, I have to say. So we really think it's the role of the branch manager to keep his team motivated and to make sure everyone is doing a great job. So we share also many information between the team with good stories. Like we have how do you say, a competition about who will get the nicer thank you from his client, like to cheer up a little bit the team and keep the motivation. And it's also useful for the support team because they don't have any contact with the client, and it's important that they realize what we are doing and what is the impact. So really every day we have some positive informal information to help us in this job. And also everyone is doing every day like a list of what we did during the day. It's not to control the people, but it's really to be able to report at the end of the crisis what we did, what are the actions we took. And it will be very important to communicate to our financial partners and also to monitor the crisis, to understand, okay, what are the risks, what are the main problems from the clients, and etc. So for us it's quite important, and we had to explain to the team that this is a point of view and that it was not just to control their work, but really to ensure the best communication as possible. Then we use a lot of tools. So we have a Google Drive, the Hangout. We also put it Slack. So Slack, it's kind of a chat, but you can easily add some documentation on this platform. And then we still have a WhatsApp group. This is really for fun information. I know it can look a bit stupid at this point, but I see that it's very important, as I say, to keep the team very positive. So we share any funny information, and it also allows to put all this not work and informal information in one group, and not to have a mix of email with fun videos and then with very important information. So for us it was important to separate the two communications. And then we every time we put our backup person in the email we'll send, because we know we can also be sick, and we want to be able to take over the job of the other person if she or he is sick. Then we had some rules. What happens if you feel sick as an employee? So it's like we share the basic rules that it's shared by our government. What is important here is that if someone is sick because of the coronavirus, we then will contact every person that who were in contact with our employee at this time. So we have to contact the clients, we have to contact the volunteers. And this is very important to make sure that we don't increase the transmission of the virus. So this is something that our HR manager is doing with the help of the branch manager. For now, we are quite lucky at microStart. We have 2 people who were sick and not in too bad condition for now. But then we really, and we took all the precautions before, so they didn't see a lot of people during the time they could be contagious. But still we call everyone, and it was very important also that the HR manager has the information about the basic health information and what to do, because the volunteers and the clients, they call her at the end to have information. They want to be reinsured and they want to know what they have to do. So it's also important as a staff to be able to inform the clients and the volunteers about what the government is telling us. Then the last thing, we put it in place, which is working quite well. We organize a crisis team to manage so the activity during this crisis. So who is part of this team is, we have 3 directors, so they are all part of this team. The HR manager, the 2 partnership managers, the risk managers, and the IT manager. For us, those are key functions that need to be involved of the management of the crisis. We call every day, really every day, 30 minutes, sometimes it's 1 hour. In the beginning, we thought it would be too much to call every day, but at the end, we speak at least 45 or 1 hour every day. because especially now we are putting in place new tools, and we have to follow it. We have to follow the risk based on the information from the field. We have to improve our communication. We are trying to get some support from our partners. So we have really, everyone needs to be informed about what's going on. So we take notes about this discussion every day, but we communicate to the general team only when important decisions are made. So we don't want everyone to know everything. It's not about not being transparency. It's just to avoid that the people have too much emails. So really we communicate through newsletters, very formal newsletters, so that they know that it's a formal information, and we have a specific template for this. And then if our staff has some other question, they know they can call our HR manager. She's very well informed about everything about the coronavirus. And also we have our directors as support. I think this is it. So I hope.
Okay, great. Thank you, Roxanne. So I have a few questions for you from the participants. So first of all, do authorized employees have remote access to the core systems like loan processing? And if yes, how you manage the risks related to, to cyber risks controls?
I have to say that for microStart, it doesn't change a lot because we already do a lot online. So all our documents are already on a shared drive. So there is the risk was already evaluated before to see if this solution is a safe one. And what is new is just about the information from the clients. And this is the biggest challenge we have now, and to have some signature from the clients for the contract. But at the HR level and the organization of the team, we use the Google Drive, and it was already assessed, and it's normally it's safe.
And when exactly you put those measures in place where all the staff has to work from home?
We started exactly a week ago. And before we had other rules from the government. So it was, so during 3 days we had other rules, and we, because the government didn't ask to stay at home as much as possible. And at this time, during 3 days, we just organized like shifts between people in the office. And we also put 3 rules in place. It was like, if you are a people with some health problem, you stay at home, no matter what the government is saying. If you have in your area people that can have problem, you stay at home also. And if you live with a person who is working in a hospital and in contact with people with coronavirus, you stay at home also. So those were extra rules that we put it in place before the full home working.
And did you observe any challenges? Did any staff complain about something which was unexpected in those days?
Yes, I see 2 challenges. First one, really, that some staff, they are depressed really about the situation, and they have difficulties to work alone, and this is difficult to manage at distance. And the other thing is that it's only a few person, but we have to be aware of this, that they don't really understand how to support our clients at distance and what we have to do. So we really have to insist a lot about what is our mission, what we are doing this. And some people, they think that if someone is taking a credit right now, it's too much risk for everyone, and they're a bit afraid of giving any credit to the client. And it's really only a very few number of employees, but it's important to explain, and then to give also example of other crises that happen in the microfinance sector, how it was managed, and why it's important to give financial access. And also, even if they don't give, it's not about the credit, it's also about informing the clients and being sure that they know microStart is there for them.
So communication, and communication.
Yeah, and I will add a third challenge is that communication, too much communication kills the communication also. So that's why we use separate channel. I don't know if it's the best idea, but one for the firm and one for very specific, important information with specific templates. This is key information you have to know. We summarize as much as we can also.
Okay, great. I see more questions, but we will ask them later. Let me first ask other speakers to present their practices, because I think some of their examples will answer a few of those questions which you put here in the chat box. So Roxanne, thank you very much. If you could stop sharing your screen.
Yes, for sure.
And I will ask now Mirjana Panin from Opportunity Bank Serbia to share what they have introduced in their institution, because as a bank, they could not close the branches fully, so they had to introduce the measures which take this into account. Sorry, it's not this presentation. Sorry. Okay, so Mirjana, the floor or the mic is yours.
Hello, everyone. It's so nice to see so many of you here today. And since my predecessor has talked a lot about what we are doing in these difficult times for our staff, I will say just a few words about that and maybe say something more about what we are doing for our clients. So Kinga, please, can you go to the other slide? Thank you. So first of all, some very general information. In Serbia, there are about 300 confirmed coronavirus cases. About 1,000 people have been tested so far. And the government is announcing massive testing as of next week. There is a complete lockdown for all people over 65 years of age in the cities and 70 years in the smaller settlements. And there is a police curfew from 5 o'clock in the afternoon until 5 in the morning. So we had to adjust to these circumstances and make sure that we keep providing service to our clients, especially to the savers, depositors, because some of them, they needed to collect their money, you know, just to make sure that they will have enough. So this is what we did. First of all, in line with the curfew, we had to shorten the working hours in our branches. So now we are only open until 3 o'clock so that people can, you know, go home from work, and also for clients to be able to go their homes from the bank. As of today, over 90 co-workers or staff members are working from home. This was a gradual approach. We started with the smaller numbers from the last week and providing everyone with the VPN connection so that, and laptop computers as well, so that they can work from home and also access the core system and the intranet and everything else that they need. We hold all our meetings online, so people are really being apart from each other, even those who are still working from the office. Everyone is minimum 2 meters apart. And on 1st March, because we were monitoring the situation and what's happening, we have increased the hygiene measures in our head office and also in our branches, closing the kitchen and providing antibacterial soap. Now we are also providing people with the masks, with the gloves, and because especially people who are working with the money, because we also have tellers, they need to make sure, you know, that while handling money, they have the gloves and sanitize their hands frequently. Also, maximum number of clients at the same time in a branch is 2. So, you know, we had to do a lot of things to communicate everything to the staff, but also to our clients, so that people will not be afraid, you know, that tomorrow we will not be able to give them their savings, or to give them a loan if they need one. So Kinga, can we go to the next?
So Mirjana, you didn't stop operations. You provide loans and savings.
Yes, especially because the agricultural season is about to start, although there was heavy snow yesterday and the day before. But especially our clients who are farmers, they will need a lot of support during these times. Also small businesses, because we know how badly affected they are with everything which is happening. So, you know, we have to make sure to remain at their disposal for the loans. But unfortunately, because of the total lockdown for the pensioners, we had to stop providing loans to this group of clients. So this is something that we will have to wait, you know, to start doing again. But yesterday we have asked our client advisors who normally work with this segment if they want to volunteer and call their clients to ask them if they need anything, if they can, you know, go to a store and to buy food for them or medicine for them. You know, while doing that, of course, they would have to take all the precautions, but we already have 7 volunteers who are willing to do this for our senior clients.
Wow, that's a very nice initiative from your side as an additional service to them, those
yes,
who cannot go out.
Exactly, and not only that they cannot go out, but they really need to have a feeling that, you know, they are not abandoned and they are not alone. And probably even the phone call, you know, that they make with the loan officer will help them at certain level. So see how it goes.
Mirjana, there is a question. Did you experience a massive withdrawal of money because of the crisis?
No, there were no massive withdrawals, just people who wanted to collect some money, which is perfectly understandable because all of, you know, people are scared for their income in the months to come. We don't know if we will have a 24-hour lockdown, you know, as of, probably not, but it's a possibility. And so people want to have something, you know, just in case, but there were no massive withdrawals, just maybe some, you know, initial panic, but more in other banks than in Opportunity Bank. But, you know, the other banks, they have ATMs and they have digital services, which Opportunity Bank doesn't have. So we have to make sure that we remain open for our clients. Mm-hmm. We are communicating like very frequently, in the first place with our staff, because you know, people are worried, people are concerned, some of them are still working, so we are trying to explain everything that the bank is undertaking in order to protect them and in order to protect or prevent the transmission of the disease, because this right now is the most important thing. So we are also sending instructions. Yesterday our CEO has sent an email to everyone not to be worried about their jobs, and you know, just trying to keep everybody calm and to keep as many people at home, you know, at this point. Opportunity Bank also has a crisis team which meets one time a day. We produce a daily report with the most important indicators and trends that we are keeping an eye on to protect also our operations. So that's also something which is quite intense, but it's very useful. We are all the time trying to communicate with our clients who are not very digitally savvy, as these are mostly rural people from rural areas and older than maybe 50, 55. Now I'm talking about farmers. So we are sending text messages. We are also, as of this year, we have started to use Viber for business. So it's Viber messaging is something which has proven to be very useful for us because we can send them links, we can send them like long text messages with some instructions and information. And that's what we have been doing maybe this week and the last week. And one important thing that I want to mention, maybe not everybody knows, but Serbia has introduced, the National Bank of Serbia has introduced a 3-month moratorium so that no loan repayments are being made for all loan clients during this time. So total stop for everybody, you know, by default, everybody is exempt from paying the loan installments for the next 3 months, except for those who choose to pay. So this is opt-out possibility. So a lot of technical work, a lot of communication, a lot of figuring out how to cope and how to, you know, manage now all the requests and, you know, register it in our core system and everything. So I think most of our efforts are now there. And we also have, yes, on 30th March, we have a webinar for our business clients, and we want to give them instructions how, you know, they can now what to do in case of their employees, how to make their, you know, businesses, how to adjust it in this situation. So we are trying to give some help to our client segments, you know, to help them manage through these difficult times.
Okay, thank you. Good. There is a question. Did you make any analysis on your portfolio because of the measures which were introduced, and what are your you know, assumptions? How does it look like?
Yes, this is a part of this daily reports that we are producing. So we are, main groups are loan portfolio, portfolio quality, and also measures that we have introduced with regards to the staff members, how many people on leave, how many people working from home, and so on. So regarding portfolio, of course, I cannot tell you the numbers, it's not my area, but of course there will be consequences and the goals that probably will not be reached, because now we are also facing the situation with the lack of the income from the loan repayments. And so, you know, this will reflect, even if there is a big demand, you know, we have to be careful about how much we can disperse. So yes, there will be consequences for sure.
There were also a few other questions in the same subjects. Did you do any stress tests of your?
Yes, it's being done like almost on a daily basis with our ALM department. And we are also adjusting our business continuity plan to this new situation.
All right, great. So thank you. Thank you, Mirjana. There will be still time to ask questions later. So now I would like to ask Lori from Adie to share the measures they have introduced in terms of especially relationship with the clients and product services they have introduced. So, but before we go for the presentation, I would like to do a quick poll among you. So you will see on your screen 2 questions. What percentage of your clients do you estimate may be affected economically by coronavirus preventive measures in the next 1 to 3 months? And then the second question, do you expect increase of your portfolio at risk? So please take time and answer the questions. If you see the poll. Okay, Laurie, can you stop sharing your screen for now? Because I guess that stops people seeing the...
Can't you see it right now? Because...
Yeah, you can see it, but if no, can you stop sharing your screen for a second?
Stop sharing. Okay.
Yes. Okay, so I hope you can... Okay, let me start again.
I can't see the poll.
Hope you can. Okay. So, okay, so Laurie, go on with your presentation and I will try to fix it.
Okay. So, hello everyone. I guess everyone, or nearly everyone, is at home right now. So at Adie in France, we took quite similar decision regarding the staff compared to microStart. And right now we've got 600 employees at Adie, and all of them are working at home because wait, I just need to turn my page. So the French president declared the confinement of the population on March 16th. So everyone is supposed to stay at home, only for people working in crucial sectors such as doctors, but also grocery shops or business like this. But all the other businesses were closed. We don't have a curfew so far, but maybe it would be the next step. So we decided on March 16th that all the branches should be closed from March 17th in the morning. So we closed all the branches, but we made sure with the posters that the clients that maybe would come to the branch would have the information that even if the branch is closed, Adie is still working and still by their sides. So we decided to go on with our operations remotely. So all loan officers are working with their phones and with their computers. We have access to the information system because the information system is mainly based on web-based application. So we can still provide all classical services. The only thing is that we don't anymore meet the clients face to face, and we only go with interviewing them over the phone or with Zoom or another device if they are digital ready. So from March 17th, we send a very wild emailing to all our active clients. We currently have 60,000 active clients. 75% of them are entrepreneurs, and 25% of the clients are working as employees. We sent this email to tell them that we are still open even if the branches were physically closed. And we gave them as much detail as we could about the support that they could get from the French government, because the French government announced a lot of different measures for entrepreneurs. And we provide them key information about those aids, because sometimes it's a bit hard to understand how they can access, or what are the rules to access the mechanism. And we invited them for the clients who didn't do it previously to get in touch with Adie, either by calling the loan officers, because the clients, they have the phone number, the mobile phone number of the loan officer, or maybe if the loan officer was sick, or was taking care of kids at home, because the schools in France, I guess it's the same in many countries, has been closed for the last 10 days. So many parents are forced to stay at home to stay with kids. So if the loan officer was not available, we gave them the phone number. We've got a national telephone platform, a centralized call center, so they can also call the call center who is still operating, even if the people are not working from their homes. And then on the day after, on March 18th, we send also to all the active clients an SMS to invite them to attend webinars, because we decided to provide webinars. It's a formula that we use currently for our clients for business development services, but it's let's say it was now the only way to get in touch with clients. So we invite them to join the webinars we held, also to explain once again, and not only via email, the mechanism that was built in France to help entrepreneurs, mechanism from the states, mechanism from the banks, and so on. And so so far we had 1,500 clients who attended those webinars to get information. And then on March 18th, as the loan officer were at home, we started a massive phoning campaign conducted by loan officers and by volunteers. Because we also work with volunteers, we are most of the time people who are retired. So as the employees of Adie, they are right now at home, but that they are available. So they keep on helping Adie's clients. And so we decided to call them one by one in order to make a diagnosis of their situation. So of course we started with the entrepreneurs clients, because they are the more at risk. And we decided not to postpone all the loan installments, as was mentioned by Mirjana right before, because we wanted to get news from the clients and then to make the diagnosis of their activity, and do they need a moratorium on their loans? Do they need it only for the months to come, or do we have to call them back in 1 month to make a new diagnosis of the situation and to think of another postponement of the loan installments? So by the time we sent the presentation, it was Monday night. We reached 12,000 clients, but last night we arrived at the figure of 16,000 clients. So it's running fast. And it's a huge work. And as Roxanne told, it's sometimes a bit hard because you spend a lot of the time of your day work over the phone with clients who are facing great difficulties. But on the same time, the loan officers are very proud of doing this, and very proud because people over the phone are very thankful. So it's important also because we are by their sides, we are calling, we are making the diagnosis and providing solutions. So it's also a very rewarding activity for the loan officer.
Mm-hmm. Laurie, there is a question. What was the level of participation of your clients in those webinars which you mentioned?
But let's say we sent the invitation to all the active clients, and so it's something like 40,000 clients who are entrepreneurs, and so far we had 1,500 attendees. Mm-hmm. So but we are keeping with this system of webinars. So we are increasing the rhythm of webinars. So maybe within a week or two, we could get so far, like, let's say 30% of the portfolio for the webinars. We hope so.
And based on the discussions which loan officers had and still have with the clients, especially entrepreneurs clients, like, what is the percentage of the clients which is affected by the crisis? Of course, it's an assessment.
Yeah, so far we've got one part of the answer could be by saying that 2/3 of the clients we call ask for a moratorium for next month on their loan repayment. So I guess a massive part of people are affected, but so far, let's say, only 2/3 are asking for a moratorium.
Okay, great.
Maybe it would be another story. It will be another story within a month, because right now everything is closed. So for entrepreneurs, some of them are really with no turnover at all for the last 10 days. The decision we took in order to be able to be agile and help the client is to launch a new microloan for working capital needs, essentially. So we decided to dedicate our own funds as a start for this new loan. So we dedicated so far 1 million euros to start with. And on this new emergency microloan, it's maximum loan amount of 1,000 euro. And there is no, we've got a system of cosigner on the loan as a guarantee. This is the way we work for guarantee. And for this loan, there is no cosigner required. And there is an automatic 3-month grace period and a reduced pricing compared to our basic offer. Mm-hmm. And then by calling the clients and making the diagnosis of the situation with each of them, we can go up to 3 months moratorium on the repayment of the loan. And of course, we had to adapt a lot the rules for disbursing the loans because it's currently quite difficult. So far, we worked with the signature on contracts on paper. So now we are sending the papers to the client, but the clients, sometimes they don't have a printing solution at home, so they cannot print the contract. So this is quite complicated. So we decided to launch to go faster on a project we had for a few months, which was to go with electronic signature on contracts. So we were supposed to start a pilot on April 1st. So and wait to make the proper links between our information system and this electronic signature system, which is an external solution that we are going to buy from a partner. And so we decided that the pilot is going to be really, really small and that we're within 2 weeks, the solution would be possible for every loan officer. So it will make this situation really easier. So the clients will be able to sign at home with a very simple solution. They only need a mobile phone, and all our clients are equipped with mobile phones. So this is let's say the emergency answer, and then we are working right now in what is going to be needed to within a month, because we hope that within a month maybe we could go out of our homes and the shops will reopen. We are waiting for information so far, but let's say within a month or within 6 weeks, everything could restart. And then now we need to think about new financial products for the clients, because they will need working capital for sure. So we were thinking of pricing, we were thinking of grace period. We also thinking of maximum loan amount, because so far maximum loan amount at Adie is 10,000 euros. So should we raise this maximum amount? This is a question. And on the same time, we will have to face risk, and the business will be risky within a few months. So should we raise the maximum amount in this risky period or not? And we are also right now looking for help from banks and private donors in order to collect new loan funds, and especially loan funds for quasi-equity microloans, which is a specific product with no interest rate and a greater possibility for grace periods. So we have to collect money. So many people are dedicated to this part of the job right now. And last but not least, we are advocating a lot toward French government, because so far the government took a lot of decisions and measures to help small entrepreneurs, but they are, let's say, only thinking of medium-sized enterprise, and sometimes the mechanism they are currently designing don't take into account small entrepreneurs, because, for example, there could be thresholds on turnover that our entrepreneurs don't reach, or there could be conditions, for example, that entrepreneurs should be running their business for at least 1 year to get access to the aid mechanism. So we are advocating a lot in order for the government to take into account all needs of entrepreneurs, and especially the smallest and the more in difficulty that Adie helps on the daily basis.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Thank you also for sharing, your plans in this crisis period. There is a question: how will you manage your own reimbursement to your own funders because of those measures you are introducing?
As Mirjana, we are simulating the ALM consequences of the postponement. We are in a situation, or we are a bit over financed as regard the loan funds. So we have a small margin, and we are going to play on this margin, but we are simulating it right now. Mm-hmm. And so far we decided not to postpone our own reimbursement to the banks.
Mm-hmm. There is another question. Are you waiving an interest during the moratorium on loan repayments?
No, we have no information solution to waive the interest. So we can postpone the interest as well, mm-hmm. but the interest is still due for the client. But we can postpone also this part. So there is really a €0 payment for the next month.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So thank you, Laurie, for sharing your measures which you have been introducing. This is great. So now let me try once again with the poll we prepared. If that will work, but somehow with it looks like the technology is not in favor today. So anyway, now it's time for you. If you have any questions, or perhaps you would like to share some of the practices which you have been introducing, which were not mentioned by our speakers. And I know that there is a lot of experience in this virtual room, looking at who joined this webinar. So would anybody like to share your experience? Just please unmute yourself. I can also call you by names. I know some of you.
Kinga, it's Mirjana speaking.
Yes.
I just have one additional thing to say.
Sure, please.
It's regarding this moratorium. So what's interesting here in Serbia, because when the National Bank has done this measure, proclaimed, and then the banks have realized that actually the clients who will use the moratorium, their installments on the end of it will be even higher because of this interest rate which is being postponed. So this is an interesting aspect of this solution.
Good, thank you.
Kinga.
Yes. Yes, Alma, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good.
Okay, it's really a good webinar. Maybe it's for all us very interested if we have a comparison with all measures which our government today gave us about the loans, moratorium, restructure, it would be very, very interesting to have everything on one paper, all the countries, just to compare and to see what's happening all around.
So thank you, Elma, for this suggestion. I have started the poll. It should work, as some of you already answered. So please provide your answers to those two questions. Actually, you know, MFC and EMN has started this series of webinars in order not only to facilitate, you know, sharing information, which is very important for you and for us. So there will be other webinars which we plan to implement in next weeks, as well as have more intensive communication with some of you, especially national associations, or in case of MFC also working groups, to actually collect information what's going on, so that can help in our communication with other stakeholders like European Commission or investors, funders. We know that some investors, funders also contacted their investees to collect information in terms of, you know, how they are assessing situation. So so we hope to have more information, and because the situation is changing so quickly, it's difficult to you know, to react sometimes so quickly. But yes, there is a plan to continue. Okay, so a few more seconds to finish the poll, and yes, you can speak, please.
Philippe Guichandu, and I just wanted to share two things. First, to let you know that we've done a study with our partners, and this study has been published right now. I think that you can find it at the EMFP website, on CGAP FinDev website as well, and on the different places. Then we do organize as well a meeting with the MIVs next week to look at what are the different actions that will be taken by the MIVs on the sectors. And definitely we're going to share the main outcome of this. And we will still launch also with our partners a regular survey to figure out what is happening in the current context. And regarding the question on what is happening in the country, I just saw today a quite interesting document that has been made by FINCA, by Action, sorry, by Action, where they have some interesting analysis about what are the different countries have taken as measures and so on. So I guess there are lots of initiatives going on, and I think that clearly MFC and EMN should be able to gather all what is happening around the sector.
So actually, you just speed up my next announcement, and thank you for sharing this, Philippe. MFC and EMN is putting now together all the resources we are collecting, and next week it will be available on our websites. We are creating special sections, so, and we will be adding there progressively. So things you shared with us and also other things we found will be available from the next week on our website, and so you can go and check there. You are probably interested how you answered the poll. So not surprisingly, majority of you think that between 50 to 75% of the clients will be economically affected by the situation now, and of course you also expect significant increase of portfolio at risk in your institutions. So I guess it's expected. The question is how large it will be and what we can do. And for that, but before I ask the question, maybe somebody else would like to share the experience or some practices you introduced in your institution. Feel free to unmute yourself and add
Hi, may I speak? My name's Johanna Ryan. I'm calling from Vision Fund International. I'm in London where we're in lockdown. And as you probably know, we work in 28 countries that are lower and middle income countries. And we estimate that this is going to be devastating for our clients because they are micro entrepreneurs, most of them rural. And with social distancing and the banning of markets, the shutting down of supply chains, this, forget about the illness effect, actually the impact on livelihoods is going to be very, very dramatic. And given that we are working with people who are already vulnerable, this only makes them more vulnerable. And the way we react now could actually make the pain, ease the pain or make it worse. So one of the things, and this has come up a couple of times already, is that we are actually talking because in many cases, given that we work in Asia as well, we cannot do any face-to-face meetings. We are talking to all of our clients to assess their circumstances individually. This, number one, this actually helps us to make decisions about how to manage that client. But number two, it demonstrates the care that we have for those clients. And we actually are, wherever possible, recommending that clients, if they possibly can, continue their repayments because it's only putting off the pain. It's not eliminating it, it's just putting it off. So we're working with local NGOs and with partners to figure out how together we can be better together than we are alone. We're also looking at developing emergency products, and somebody on the call has already mentioned this, emergency products. And once we're further into the crisis, starting to come out the other side, then we would be doing some recovery lending to help these small businesses recover. So that's the client side. I won't mention the staff side, enough has been said about that. In terms of the lenders, we are proactively working with our lenders because we cannot have our lenders turning off the tap now. In the same way that we need to provide recovery lending and emergency products to our clients, we also need our lenders to do the same for us. So we're being proactive in every part. But I think that we are being complacent if we think that we're only going to have up to 75% of our clients affected. I think this is going to be everybody.
Well, yeah, we'll see. Definitely, it will have huge effects on all of us and our clients. Yes, it's a question what we can do and how we can act today and tomorrow. I would like to ask you another question, which is following a little bit of Joanna, your comments. So, what expectations you have towards the funders to help you deal with the current situation? And it's a question for microfinance institutions, because also, as you mentioned, you know, how you are going to deal with your investors, funders, if you don't have funds or they do not allow you to introduce certain measures because you will have, for example, liquidity problems. Although I think, again, it doesn't work. Okay, so today technology is definitely not working properly. So is anybody else who would like to speak? And,
Solène Leblas from Adie International. I would like to share that I share the statement from Vision Fund. Most of our clients, not to say all our clients, will be affected somehow. It can come from different channels, but they will be affected. And we, during these times, difficult times, we're going to need the support of our lenders, other shareholders. We see some movement on the DFI front, I would say. We are also going to need MIVs. And I'm glad to hear from Philippe that all MIVs are going to meet. We are going to be needed flexibility on financial governance, but also financing. Also maybe some support with repayment. That we'll have to discuss at a later stage, of course. But we have to be as a sector all together and support each other to go through these difficult times.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I fully agree. I see Maria Deutsche, you raised your hand. Would you like to speak? Feel free.
Yes, this is Maria Deutsche. I'm the facilitator of the Romanian National Working Group for Microfinance Institutions. What we are trying right now is to monitor all the measures besides getting around and finding what type of measures and sharing what type of measures the individual MFIs are taking to support and protect their employees and their customers. What we are doing at the level of this working group is to monitor all the measures the central bank and the government is planning to implement in the economic measures they are going to implement. Last night we succeeded to get together and draft a letter with our proposals for the government in order to consider some of the concerns we have related to the proposed measures they are going to take today or tomorrow. They are preparing an emergency ordinance and the fund to support the small entrepreneurs. Soon after we will have the final document. We will be able to assess the impact on the microfinance institutions and propose measures and share experiences and share proposals how to deal with this 9-month moratorium in repayment of the active loans, which will affect dramatically the microfinance institutions. That's more or less what we are doing. So each week or sometimes twice a week, I'm collecting all the press release and all the official communication from the central bank, from governments, from different other state institutions, sharing with MFIs and reacting to the drafts of the legal measures which are considered to be implemented within the next period by the government, and keeping contact and sharing all the good and efficient measures the MFIs are taking to protect their customers and clients and personnel. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Maria. There was also another suggestion written in the chat box by Mirjana that maybe MFIs could identify clients who will be less affected, for example, food producers or grocery stores or pharmacies, and we could use different approaches for them as probably they will be much less affected than, let's say, tourist agencies or other services which are currently closed in many countries because of the quarantine. I think I like your idea, Mirjana, so thank you for sharing it. With that, we already exceeded a little bit of our time. I would like to thank you, and also
Yes. Hi, I'm Adriana from EMN. Hi to everyone. I just want to, before you close the webinar, also mention a couple of webinars we're preparing one particularly on the 9th of April. It was targeted to traveler population that we all know this is a population that's going to be like everyone, but these are going to be deeply affected by this crisis. So we're going to see here how Adie also is modified their approach towards this population, and a little bit about coronavirus also. And then on the 16th of April, we're going to launch a webinar with credits on their branchless approach towards loan dispersal. And they will also discuss their numbers and the actions they took on the coronavirus crisis. Just this to share with everyone else that we have this on the lines also.
So thank you, Adriana. Also, let me say that if you have anything you would like to share with us, or you have questions, suggestions, please contact. You can contact me at MFC, or you can contact Adriana, who just mentioned those webinars. You have our emails on the screen. I would also like to mention that this webinar was the first one, and we are planning to do another ones, and we were able to organize them thanks to co-finance from the European Commission program for employment and social innovation called Easy. So this was our fund partner, and with that, if you do not have any questions, let me say, stay safe, stay at home, and hope to see you soon. And yes, we will be sharing the recording of this webinar. It will be available on MFC and EMN website soon, so you will be able to access it. So thank you very much, and have a good day.